Hey, do you want me to go ahead and get? Oh,
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Karen Jackson, and thank you so much for joining us for the one of the last 5 Teachathon events. So today we have Danielle Filas, and she is such a very close friend of mine, and I love her. I'm sure you will too. So I want you to enjoy her presentation. Uh, it's all about engagement. It's about getting students interested. So here we go. Danielle, take it away.
thank you so much, Dr. Jackson. It's so exciting to be here, and I am excited to be one of the 5 desserts at the end of the Teachathon. Honestly, I feel like 2020 has already been a Teachathon. So, if y'all are out there, I am doing this on Pear Deck, and a little sweet bonus if you join into the Pear Deck. I think Dr. Jackson is going to drop the link to this Pear Deck in to our chat. If you would rather, you can type in joinpd.com and then enter in the code that's right there. The little sweet deal, if you actually jump in and do this live with us and play the Pear Deck, you will get a freebie at the end. Pear Deck is so very nice. They're so generous. They have given us me premium memberships to give away for 3 months. So you get all the bells and whistles. If you're watching this recorded, I'm also going to create a self-paced version of this Pear Deck you can play along with when you watch the recording. And you'll also get the freebie at the end there. So I am going to go ahead and get started. It looks like nobody's brave enough to jump on right now, but that's just fine. If you join late, the code is still in the upper right-hand corner. So I'm going to talk about engagement. And I don't know about y'all, but I have had some struggles with engagement, especially when we did the just right as COVID was starting in March. We went to crisis mode learning, which is what I called it, instead of virtual learning. It was really crisis mode learning. And it was hard to get students who had gotten to know us all year to get on board and be engaged with our material. It's always kind of a struggle. I teach 8th grade English here in Houston, Texas, and it's always kind of a struggle, but it was even more of a struggle once we had that big switch. And now we did 2 weeks of virtual learning at the Presbyterian School where I teach English and where I'm the 8th grade dean. And now we're switching into hybrid. We just started this week. So the giant bags under my eyes are from that. And engagement is still the name of the game. It's what we're all talking about. So I'm going to give you some tips that I've stolen from others and some things that have worked for us at Presbyterian School and that I've gleaned from all of the amazing workers and teachers and educators that I have worked with in my journeys. So I like to start out my classes that are online and in real time and hybrid with some kind of scale. There's a cage scale too, that's Nicolas Cage's Spaces and Various Things. I probably wouldn't show this one to the kids because of cat number 1, but I figured I'm among my teacher friends today. Oh, cat number 7 too. There's a lot of drinking in this. So don't show this one to your kids, but you can get a temperature check of people in the room by doing one of these mood boards. They're all over. You've probably received some on Facebook. So I just screenshot them and start my class with these. It's a really sneaky way also to take attendance if you're purely virtual, because the kids can't resist putting in what number they are. And sometimes they'll talk about like, oh, I'm kind of like a cross between 2 and 8. And so you can shout out with them if you want to and talk to them about that, tell them what you are. So that's just a quick thing to do as well. I'm wondering what everybody's class looks like. If you are on Pear Deck right now, you would see that we've got multiple choice up here where it asks if you were purely virtual, if you're face-to-face, if you're online, or who the heck knows. And with Pear Deck, I can lock the screen out from people responding and then show responses Nobody's on this Pear Deck, so I don't have much to show you now, but it's really helpful as a teacher. I can also look at the responses with a teacher dashboard that I can see, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like, which lets me have some power in the background. So I wouldn't normally be showing my full screen to my students. Oh, I'm not on my premium account. Yay. Dr. Jackson will cut this out in post. The dashboard account is really nice because it allows you to look in the background at who's responding and who's not responding. And it also allows you to see what's ahead on your next slide and to give you the chance to put in speaker notes so that you can talk and kind of have something to fall back on when you know what you're talking about. Hi, Dr. Jackson. She came out from underneath. So another thing I really love to do with my students is to get them up and moving. So this is for when you're purely virtual and totally at home. I'll do something like, okay, kids, I am going to show you a card. And I've just used an old envelope. I don't know about you. I've got tons of envelopes sitting around and pieces, scraps of paper. So I'll just hold it up and say, I'm going to hold up something in front of the screen. And when I say go, I want you to run, leave your computer where it is and go get it. And the first person to come back, show me the item and type it in the chat gets a point for their team. And you can divide the teams up how you want, or you can make it individual. And then I will go through and show them the word. So like, who has a yo-yo? Who has paper, writing paper? Sometimes you don't write it and they can come back with a newspaper. Who has a pen or pencil? So I try to make a couple things I know everyone will have and a couple weird things. Who has a hat? Who has an apple? And it's really fun. You usually want to get somebody who can maybe help you to look at the chat windows with that and see who wins. But honestly, they don't really care who wins. They just like getting up and running through the house like wild monkeys. And you can hear parents in the background going, what is going on? Why are you getting my suitcase? Or whatever you might ask them to get. It's a lot of fun. And then you can have prizes at the end, or you can do something like this. What did I spell today? If you unscramble the first letter of every word that I had you go look for, what did I spell? And so the first person to put that in could be a tiebreaker. By the way, it was happy, because I think that it's important to project happiness to your students as well to get them engaged. I had somebody say to me, the definition of karma is that what you plant grows. I just want you to sit with that for a second. What you plant grows. So if you plant grouchiness and stress and anxiety, that's exactly what you'll grow in your classroom. So I think we're all feeling a lot of it stressed. I may have in fact been all the cats on that mood board at one point or another today. But to look for things that make you happy and to project that with your students will get you a lot more engagement. I also love having timers, and this can work in the classroom and virtually as well. And whoa, this is not what I meant to do. So you can push a timer and say, okay, I want you guys to write, since the word was happy today, I want you guys to write for 2 minutes about all the things that have made you happy in the past week. And then you can invite students to put that into their chat. You can invite them to share it. If you're using Zoom, you can push them into breakout rooms and have them discuss the things that made them happy, and come back and talk as a whole. If you're face-to-face or hybrid like we are, the kids who are virtual make a natural breakout room, and the kids who are in the class, I might just say, let's just share and get a list going up on the board, and then ask the virtual kids to do that as well. I usually give the virtual kids first dibs because they're sort of in a place all by themselves and they have fewer distractions. So they're often more sort of focused on what's going on. Then they really, really want to feel included. So I tell them ahead of time, you're always going to get asked questions because you're special and you're at home. Whereas the in-person kids, I will try to pick and choose as I go, and they may or may not get called on. So really, if you get nothing else out of this, I think to get students to be engaged, we have to concentrate on relationships. Relationships first. I'm not going to engage with someone that I don't care about. I'm not going to engage with someone who doesn't care about me. And it's super hard to make relationships happen in the current circumstances. So, things that I could do just as students were walking into the room, we do high fives, elbow bumps. I could look and say, hey, I noticed that you don't look so happy today. Oh, did you remember to bring the paper that you're supposed to bring today? You can't do in the environment we're in right now. We just can't anymore. So we have to be really thoughtful and intentional about that. So if you're synchronous, one of the tricks I've picked up on the way, I did not invent it, I have stolen everything, is to use the waiting room, whereas we use Zoom at my school. So normally, I think we tend to bring people in as they come in the waiting room, where we wait till a big pile of them are there, and then we hit that admit all button. And that can be useful. But something I've started to do is keep an attendance printout next to my computer. And as I bring students into the waiting room, I will pick 2 or 3 to bring in at first. Just have a minute conversation with them and say, how are you doing? What did you have for breakfast this morning? Tell what you're doing. Tell me what's something funny that happened to you. And just try to get in sync with them a little bit, and then bring everybody else in. And I'll check those 2 or 3 students off on my list. And then tomorrow, I make sure that it's a different group of students that I pick on to come in. Now, your students are going to be the ones that are tough to get, the ones who are chronically late, but I have a plan for them to fall into my evil clutches as well. I will say, or put in chat privately to them sometime during our synchronous waiting room time, I'll say, or our synchronous class time, I'll say, hey, stick around, you're not in trouble. I just want to chat with you before you go. I've got a couple of you I want to chat with. And they always do. I've not been denied yet. And then I just say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with you today? It was great to see you. And is there anything I can be doing to help you be happier in my class? And it's such a small thing, but it really does help. If you're asynchronous and teaching virtually, it is worth your time to try to schedule a family Zoom call or to create study pods for friends. So shooting out an email to a kiddo and the parents and just say, hey, I haven't gotten to know you this year, and normally I would have by now. Here are a couple times I'm available. Would you guys like to have a quick family Zoom? It'll take 15 minutes. I just want to say hi. Even if they say no, I think it still goes far to making the relationship happen. And if they do say yes, it is a really, I say it's for them, but it will be for you too. You'll feel good afterwards. You won't have to pretend to be happy. You will be happy. I also love study pods. I'll tell people, students, hey, this is going to be a tough test coming up. I'm going to have my Zoom open during this time. And if you'd like to come in, I will put you guys into study pods so you can work together. I won't even be in the room unless you call me in. And then I just sit and work. And a lot of times we're reading Here at the Wind right now in my class. Kids will want to go into those study pods to read the play together out loud, or to go over a recent assessment that they did, or they just want to get together and chat as kids. And honestly, I think that's okay. That's fine. Remember when we used to be kids and we'd go do things and there weren't adults around and nothing caught on fire? Remember, we could just talk and we would just hang out and trade stickers or whatever we did in 8th grade. So I think it's okay to do that. I also like weekly updates. So I do a 5-minute Sunday evening update about what's coming up in the week. I try to open with something really personal, and I just go through the assignments that we're going to have that week. And on that same attendance list, I will highlight a kid who did something great in class and write just 2 words. So I might write, Tyler funny joke. And that's enough to trigger my memory when I'm recording these weekly shout outs and to help them out. Yay, I'm glad you like the study pod. I do too. And then we have been instructed by our leaders to have an 8th grade blog. So I'm a big proponent of student agency, so voice choice and agency. And I've started to more and more hand that over to the kids. So I like to tag a student to write that weekly blog. And all they have to do is like a sentence or two for each class, what they were learning that week in that class, the core classes, the extracurriculars, and then they'll just naturally write other things. And I tell them I will lightly edit if you want me to, or I'll just leave it alone. And I don't care if there's a misplaced, I'm an English teacher, and I don't care if there's a misplaced comma or a missing capital letter. I want them to be authentic and write what they're writing. And I love that weekly blog. I ask students to do it. I try to make sure I have a good mix of students who will do it. And then I've also said, if you want to write the blog, you can always reach out to me. So did I mention it's about relationships and also about relationships? So here's an example of my weekly update. I won't make you guys listen to me. You're welcome. But you can see I'm not making a big thing out of it. I embed my own video in it. I'm just using Screencastify on my Chromebook. I have a Google slide deck up that I'm sharing. And let's see, in this one, I think I just got done golfing and taking a shower. I'm chitting and chatting with them. I do not edit. It is nothing but a thing. Don't make it a whole thing. It doesn't need to be edited and spiffy. I think that stops a lot of people. Get personal. They know I'm struggling on the golf course right now. I've gotten lots of YouTube links about how to hit a sand shot from parents and kids, so I know they're watching. And I give that week what's coming up in the week and then the shout outs. And the kids love the shout outs. They really do. I know that they watched it because when they come in the next day, they're just happy to see me. And maybe if I said making jokes, they make too many jokes after that, but it's fine. Screencastify is there's a free version. I went ahead and paid for the upgrade just because I'm lazy and don't want to have to think about keeping it exactly under 5 minutes. And it was worth it to me. It's pretty cheap. I can't remember what it is. I bought it so long ago that it's just kind of washed into all the bills, all the gadgets. Absolutely free is Google Forms. And Google Forms, everybody uses them. I really like using them at the beginning of the year, and there's a link in this presentation to collect email addresses from my students. Always click collect email address. Make sure you include a field for your section or class, so later when you turn it into a spreadsheet, you can really easily filter and look at one class's data or another, and you can collect data and you can just reuse it. I just hit on link form and have a new one for every time I use it. So I have years of data in one spreadsheet from the same form. And what I ask, in case you're not looking at the form right now, are these questions and some more. I don't make it too long, but I ask, who do you like to work with in your class? And who do you prefer not to work with in your class? These are touchy questions. Yes, I can use it to think about groupings later, but what I'm really looking for are the students whose names don't show up on either list. I'm not interested. If you're hated or loved, you're all good because you've got a personality and you never slip through the cracks. If you are not mentioned, you're the one who needs me. So you're the first one I'm going to reach out to if I see that you're not on the list. And then I can also use it for like groups and things. Maybe I'll put in one group that's all people who don't want to work together and just see what happens and say, yeah, no, yeah, you all put each other on there and now you're going to work together. How about that? Um, nowhere did I say we were in a contract and you'd like everyone, because gosh knows your teachers don't like everybody they have to work with either. How about it? We've all been in those groups, so this is your time to figure it out. I don't do that often, but I might pull it out of the hat once in a while. I also love asking what a favorite project they did in the past was, for no other reason than I will replicate it. If you liked it, I am not above pandering to you, little 8th grader, because I am looking to engage you. I ask who the favorite teachers are, and then I find as many of those teachers as I can, and I send them an email with the quotes that the kids say. Some of the time, I'm an 8th grade teacher, like I said, and sometimes it's their kindergarten teacher. The one that broke my heart wide open into joyous light was when a student said, I love my kindergarten teacher because she taught me to read, which is the best gift. Oh, so wonderful. So I tell them they have to put names in, and I find those teachers' email addresses if I can, and I quote the child and I send it to them and say, hey, Dr. Jackson, I just wanted you to know that little Brett said that you taught him to read, and it was the best gift he ever had, and he's loved. If that doesn't make you feel good, I don't know what will. You are dead inside. Seek therapy. It feels wonderful.
Yeah,
And
yes,
I say who it does. I say who the kid was, and often the teacher will want to write back, and then the child feels great because it was so easy with their words to make someone feel good. So I love that. I ask candy and color. I am not above bribing children with candy, and I'm not above bribing children with stickers of colors they like, but I also like using those as groupings. So I'll be like, today it's the M&Ms versus the Twizzlers. So that can be a lot of fun too. Bucket list, just because it's fun to think about. And if they say, I don't have anything to write about, I can say, imagine you doing your bucket list thing and write about that. This is a really important one. What is something you wish your teachers knew about how you learn? That's some data you can really cook with. I've gotten everything from, I might look like I'm spacing out, but I'm really thinking, to when I get up and move around, it's not because I'm being disrespectful. I just need to move or I can't concentrate. Sometimes it's I'm scared to share my thoughts. And so we'll work together to give them a heads up. Hey, I'm going to ask you this question on Monday. You can write it down. I'm going to ask you first so you can be ready. That's some good data for you. And then I always have an anything else question because they're usually funny. My favorite one this year was, you're actually a really good teacher. The word actually in there is what got me. You're actually, like, I get the sense there's a big conversation over here saying I'm not, but actually you're a good teacher. I also had one time, you try really hard as a teacher. I howled. I was like, you tried. You're not there, but you're trying.
Didn't work. I didn't get it, but you tried.
Gotta love them.
That's lovely.
I also love Kudos. So whatever it takes for you, whatever it is honoring your time and your life, once a day or once a week or once a month. Or one year I said every time I sent home a naughty email, I also had to send home a kudos email to someone else. So keep a list on that attendance list and make sure every kid gets a kudos email from you that year. Commit to that. Start with the tough kids. Start with the kids who you secretly think are kind of a jerk. Because they're going to be the hard ones, and you'll get that relationship off to a different thing. So it doesn't have to be a lot. Here's an example. Hi, Warner. I'm writing to thank you for being such a great asset to English 8 to get today. I noticed you were really helpful when your classmates were struggling with their technology. You helped make today a success, and I want you to know I really appreciate it, Ms. Filas. I CC parents We have an advisory program, so I'll also CC the advisors. If there's somebody who has a relationship with our learning specialist or with our counselor, I might also CC them just to know that they can follow up and give pats on the back. You'll get no response from the child, especially the tough ones, but that doesn't mean they're not responding. And you plant seeds that grow when you do this. You'll certainly get responses from parents, and a lot of times the advisors, the learning specialists, the school counselors will follow up with an email to say that's wonderful as well. And it is a terrific way to intentionally try to plant those seeds. You have to do it. So to do these, I have started down this path of addiction that I want to talk to you about. And my addiction is Gmail templates. Oh my gosh, I love them. They're super easy to create. In fact, there's a little GIF here that's showing you how. Do you say GIF or GIF?
GIF.
So
G.
Do you go see the giraffes at the zoo?
Yes, I do.
Okay. and do you say hello to the gentleman down the hall?
Yes.
I don't know which one
That's
is
E.
right.
That's E. It's different.
I know. The giraffe is not different. But the GIF, the animated little file is showing you how you can set up templates in Gmail. They're really easy to do. They're really easy to make. There is also a link in this slide deck that shows you how to actually go through and do it. You can figure it out. You don't need it. Y'all are smart. If you got here, you can do it. But I have different templates for everything. I have one for email etiquette, and I'll show it to you. That if a student writes to me with no subject, or the subject says like, hey, or it's me. I had one student who wrote all year, every subject was, it's me. Then they get the email etiquette email template from me that says, would love to answer your email, but you have to meet the requirements. If students,
that's great.
It's great, right? If students show up with missing work, so especially on days when their group is expecting them to work, I have a template that'll show you in a minute about that missing work. That's what their new work becomes. Spoiler alert, they have to send it to mom and dad and explain what happened. Once they complete, it is. It's all about accountability. Once they complete that late work, they get to send the completed late work email. I have one for the invitation to blog. I have one for the Kudos, and I have a request to meet one. Let's look at some of the juicier ones. So here's an example of the student email when they get missing work. You can see here that it says, because you weren't able to complete the work for today's activities, you'll need to write an email to explain the situation and how you outline how you plan to get caught back up. It has to be sent to me, to your advisor, and it'll be forwarded to your parents on the progress. I have the email guidelines link there, and then I have a little built-in template that they cut and paste that says, Dear blank, which would be mom and dad, I hope this finds you well. I'm writing to update you on my progress in English 8 today. We were expected to, and then they have to describe what they were supposed to do. And I did not meet that expectation. I do not allow them to explain why. That's for their novel or an acceptance speech or whatever. Then they say, I have, however, created a plan to catch back up, and I will complete the missed work by, and then they talk about what they're doing and when they'll do it by. I'll attend Miss Filas's office hours on this date. After I finish this work and attended the office hours, I'll send you another email to let you know the work has been completed. So it's kind of mean and uncomfortable for them, but it also shows them that they can be responsible when things go wrong. And it happens to all of us. it shows them that I trust in them to navigate their way through this. It keeps me from being a manager and helps me to be more of a consultant and puts their
Or
parents in
coach.
the same row. Yeah, a coach, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Once they do the completed work, it's a similar thing. And they say, Dear Blank, I've got some good news. As I promised, I'm emailing you to update on my progress in English. I completed blank. I've gone to the office hours on this day. I could to complete the work and make sure it meets the requirements. I'm now caught up. Ms. Filas, please forward this to my parents. Here are their email addresses. Thank you. And then I forward it to whoever they really want me to. And they like this. I've had so many parents write back and say, this is amazing to me and not the kid. So they like it too. And students start doing it on their own in other classes, which is really nice. If guidelines aren't met, here is what they have to do. I've created just a little published slide deck that shows, one page shows the guidelines I expect, proper subject, proper salutation, proofreading, a greeting that's kind and personal. If it's a problem or a question, what they've tried to do first to solve it themselves, and then the question. So if I couldn't find something in Schoology, they might say, I looked in these two places and still couldn't find it. Can you guide me? They can't just write without having tried something. And that cuts down on your emails a lot, because usually they just have to try a thing other than writing to you for it. So that's what I've got for you. That was in 30 minutes. That was pretty quick. Besides the freebies, so there is a link here to get you premium code for Pear Deck for 3 months. You can have that. And Pear Deck gives that to you with their good graces, because they are just kind and wonderful people. If you were my kids and you were playing on the Pear Deck, I would say to drag the icon to how you feel right now. Sad, pudgy stick man. I love that he's pudgy. I feel like if I was a stick man, I would be pudgy too. Or you feel joyous. Oh, somebody responded. Let's see. Oh, she's still a sad, pudgy stick man. Oh, that's okay.
I'm tired.
But
I'll be better
maybe you
tomorrow.
were over here by his little tushy before, and now you're happy. So, so that's all I've got for you, unless you, Dr. Jackson, want me to go over anything else, or do you have any questions for me?
No. We had a little bit of a mix-up. Okay. Let's see. How do I word this? I may or may not have been using another account for all the StreamYard stuff. So when I put a comment in your class, it's going out on all the other sessions for the comments on YouTube. Yeah. And well, I'm saying really great stuff about you. Just so you know, it's great stuff about you. But I don't know. Is it all right if I put this? Is the last link the Pear Deck link?
Yeah, that link is the Pear Deck
okay.
link. You want me to go back to
one more. One more is not going to hurt. I've got it. I just debating whether or not to send it out all over the conference. They're educators, right?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so and the directions are this link. This link will get you how long?
3 months. 3 months of premium Pear Deck. Courtesy of Danielle Filas with Engage. I should have done more Star Trek. I should have done some Star Trek humor.
Oh, that's cool.
Engage. Next time I do this, I will.
Okay, 3 months of professional Pear.
Premium Pear Deck.
Oh, sorry. PREMIUM. This link will get you 3 months of premium Pear Deck. Try it. Okay. Boom. One more link is not going to ruin my reputation.
having people to interact with makes me a lot quicker. Usually that's about an hour. This was half the time. I always said teaching would be
Yeah.
a lot easier without students.
Yes, I know. Isn't that crazy? It's the truth, though. It's the truth. But I really like the interactivity you did, and that I didn't have to. You changed my slides for me. I appreciate that very much. And the little interactive one where you get to drag the little star around. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there are a
I really
couple
like it.
more in it too. Let's see. You can go. It gives you some of the links, and then way back at the beginning. See, this is what Pear Deck was doing. I'm not doing anything right now. It's just freaking out.
Oh wow, that is
Yeah, right.
Well,
like
the
disco Pear Deck.
the network has been kind of wild today.
Well, it's almost like everybody in the world is doing virtual learning right now.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I am going to say thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
I have to end the broadcast.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the Teach-a-thon. And thank you, Danielle, Filas. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for doing this. What a Herculean task.
Oh, it's been a blast.
Good.
Okay.
I'm so